Okay, the first drill we're going to do is a club face control drill. Now what I always use is a ball. Now the reason I use a ball and I put a seam around the ball is so that we get the feeling of opening and closing the club face through rotation of our arms. There's a great misconception of what release is. A lot of people are taught that this is release. Uncocking your wrists and having your wrists move this way is a release. That is not a release, that is a slap. And it's very hard to have any sort of control with that type of release. A release is the actual rotation of the forearm. So if we looked at just the left arm only, the club will actually hinge up against the line of the left arm during the swing. It will rotate over to the right for right-handed golfers, rotate back to where it came from, and then rotate to the left. It's a rotation of the forearms that actually squares the face up. It's not a slap of the wrists. Now, using a ball is a great way of practicing this rotation. So we go through a drill of just turning to the right. Now, when I turn to the right, I want the seam of the ball to be pointing straight up in the sky. Return back to my impact position, still maintaining the feeling of what we learned with the chipstick. Now, when I'm back to the impact position, I want the seam pointing straight ahead. And then I turn through to my shaking hands and follow-through position. Now I have the seam of the ball pointing back up again. Now if I'm doing this, if I'm rotating to the right, and our turn of our body does most of this anyway, the face opens, it squares up, and then it closes. Now this is the absolute part. If at the moment of impact the seam was pointing over there, the club face would be open. If the club face is open, the ball's going to the right. If the moment of impact the seam was pointing over there, the club face is closed, the ball's going left. These are absolute laws. Based on the laws of force and motion, there's nothing we as human beings can do about it. So practicing that drill just with a ball of bringing the club face back to square and then our follow-through position is a great drill to get the feeling of squaring the face through forearm rotation, not through a slapping of the wrists. Okay, I get golfers to practice that with the ball and deliberately bring it back closed and deliberately bring it back open and then deliberately hit shots to the left and shots to the right. So if you can deliberately hit a shot to the left and a shot to the right, you can also deliberately hit it dead straight. So you are in control of what you're trying to do in impact. Okay, my next favourite drill of putting it all together is we know our delivery position. What we do is what I want you to do is take the club all the way to the top, bring it down to the delivery position, back just a little bit, so the club is now pointing to the ball, and then swing on through to the target. So this is a drill of taking it to the top, down to the delivery position, back a little bit, and then swing on through to the target. Now in doing this drill, you'll hit dead straight shots. Now if you hit dead straight shots with solid impact, then you can build that into your real golf swing. So what I want you to do then is, once you've practiced lots of doing that drill, is I want you to use that as your drill before each shot, incorporate that feel into a full practice swing, and then step up to the golf ball, and then we're going to hit a shot without thinking about anything other than repeating the feel of what we did in that drill. And this is the key to really progressing as a golfer. If you're standing over the golf ball thinking about how to swing the golf club, you're just going to get yourself all tied up in knots. So how do you work on your technique if you're not supposed to think about it? You do a drill that programs the feel of the technique, you incorporate that into a practice swing, and then over the ball your only thought is to repeat the feeling of the practice swing. That's why that particular drill I get all of my golfers to use as a part of their routine. Okay, now one last thing, just to have a little bit of fun. And I want you to progress on with Pure Golf training, because I have all this information available at a much more advanced and detailed approach, so you'll be able to hit all the shots that you want to hit. But just say you want to hit the ball with a bit of a draw or with a bit of a fade, what I want you to do is grip the golf club out in front of you, close the golf club up to 11 o'clock, and now I want you to do this same drill. Exactly the same drill. Now what happened when I did that was the ball started left and then drew off to the left. Now all I would have to do if I wanted to hit a nice hook shot like that around a tree is go, okay, now when I practice that drill the ball goes 30 yards left, so now what I have to do is do the same drill, but I'm just going to walk around maintaining my ball position until my body's now lined up 30 yards right. I do the same drill. I'm not swinging it on the inside. It looks like the inside, but all that is I'm compensating for the fact that the face is closed. So if you actually stood over here, I'm still coming down the line, back a little bit, all the way down, and I've hit a nice 30-yard hook shot, which is a fabulous fun shot for hitting around